Hey guys, we've recently partnered with the social media platform Go Wild to combat mainstream social media censorship. If you're tired of having your hunting and outdoor posts taken down and flagged, be sure to check out Go Wild, which was built by outdoorsmen and women just like you. Go Wild is a free social community. Not only are your photos not censored, but they are also encouraged on Go Wild. Go Wild gives you points for things like sharing your trophies, gear reviews, and inviting friends. As you earn more points, you unlock awesome rewards such as gift cards, free swag, knives, and huge discounts on brands like Garmin and Vortex. Oh, and if you create a free account, you can unlock $10 just for trying it out. Use code HTW to receive 10% off your order today. Download Go Wild at gowild.com or in the App Store.
To hunt the wild, to hunt the wild, gonna hunt the wild.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Hunt the Wild podcast. I've got your favorite Hunt the Wild podcast guest on here for the 7,000th time, Brett Morris from Blue River Bow Hunting. What's up? Not a whole lot. So just for anyone that hasn't listened, we'll have you do a little brief introduction. Maybe this is their first show tuning into you, but I'm sure the others have heard you in the past.
Right. So I'm Brett Morris. I'm from East Central Indiana. I host a podcast, Blue River Bow Hunting. We have YouTube and just create a bunch of content, outdoor content, mostly bow hunting whitetails, but we do a lot of other things too, and we'll definitely get into that at some point in this conversation. But yeah, Indiana boy chasing deer with a camera.
Brett's a turkey hunter, so we're gonna cover a bunch of turkeys this episode. I have been like twice in my entire life. Maybe seen a bird one time, like 1,000 yards away. So I haven't actually shot a turkey. So Brett's gonna school us on all of that. But how did you get involved in turkey hunting? Is that something you picked up as a kid or?
Yeah, it's funny because I do obsess over whitetails, but it was actually turkeys that really got me introduced to the outdoors and became my first outdoor passion. I started hunting turkeys at 14 years old. My dad had never done it. My uncle had never done it, who I hunted with, those two guys. And somebody at work that they worked with must have got them in the conversation. They're like, "Hey, do you want to try turkey hunting now?" I'm like, if this is another thing for me to do outside, absolutely, let's do it. I hadn't even killed a deer at that point. 14 years old. We go to the youth season in Kentucky. My dad owned some property. My uncle owned some property. We knew a lot of people down there that had property. So we go out right off the bat. I kill a turkey the first day I ever hunted turkeys. Basically my first ever harvest of anything, and it happened all within 30 minutes of my first turkey hunt.
Oh, was that good or bad?
No, that's great. And you know, you know how hunting is. Luck has a lot to do with it too. Were we lucky that day? Absolutely. We happened to be at the right place at the right time and made a few moves that put us in that position, but we had no idea what we were doing. I mean, absolutely no idea what we were doing on calling or setting up or just turkey language or turkey behavior. Had no clue.
So by looking at your wall back here, anybody on YouTube, Brett's obviously a deer hunter. I don't see any turkeys back on that wall, so that makes me wonder if you favor deer hunting over turkey hunting.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up. I actually do have quite a few fans over here in my hunting room. But when I got married, me and my wife got married in 2018. The centerpiece at our wedding, every centerpiece at the wedding had a tail or a tail fan feather from a tom that I had harvested. I cut up about 6 turkey fans, maybe 7 turkey fans altogether, and it was just kind of like my spin on the wedding. I let the ladies plan it all out and that kind of thing. But I had a tail fan feather from a bird I had harvested at every table at our wedding.
You should you should dig up some pictures and post those on social. I think people would find that interesting. I had the shed at my wedding that I proposed to my wife with laying up on the table. So that was my little spin. They can plan everything else, but I wanted to taint it a little bit with my touch.
Absolutely, man.
So you have a son, right? Just one son.
Yep, my son Emmett, he is 5 years old. He'll be 6 years old in November.
So has he been out hunting, chasing turkeys?
He hasn't been hunting at all. I'm trying to introduce him to the outdoors as slowly as possible. I just don't want to ruin it for him or make him do something he doesn't want to do. This year, I'm going to take him squirrel hunting a couple times, and then I'm going to actually get him in the deer blind this year. My neighbor has an elevated box blind over a food plot, so I think that's a pretty good introduction to deer hunting. Even if we see something and he bangs on the glass or whatever, because he's kind of a wild child.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin him on it. Obviously he's going to want to do what dad does before too long, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to take him outdoors, but I definitely want to introduce it to him as slowly as I can. I know he's going to love turkeys just because of the experiences I know that I can put him in, especially as being a youth hunter. I go to Kentucky, so we have Kentucky this season for deer and turkey, and then Indiana season, youth season here the last couple of years has been so fun deer hunting. I've gotten to take Adam Bonowitz's sons the last couple of years. We've killed some on video. His son Cam shot his first deer last year, so I got to experience him recovering his first deer and that kind of thing. And it definitely helps me prepare as a dad, watching another dad take his kids out.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to watch somebody so you kind of know what to do. What do you feel like? Is there a proper age to introduce kids to that, or you think it's kind of dependent on the
Yeah,
child and
I
kind
think
of the
it's really
maturity of
dependent
them?
on the child and also the father and maybe what position that you're in. You don't really want to take your 5 or 6 year old out on public land, in a blind or something, and have somebody ruin it or scare them or something a little bit. You want them to feel comfortable in the whole situation. So I think it really just depends on the kid himself. Actually, what I want to prepare my kid for, everybody has their sports growing up, baseball, football, basketball, whatever. I want to get my son into archery at a young age and maybe shoot some competition archery at a younger age. I think that'd be really good for him.
Yeah, learn the skills before you go out and chase the animals.
Absolutely. They give scholarships out to that sort of thing. And, you see, like bass fishing college teams pop up a lot in the last 10 years or so. I mean, I wish I had that when I was in high school or college. I'd be all over a bass fishing team. You know what I mean?
I know you're big into NASCAR and watching football and stuff. I'm not a really big sports guy, and that kind of football and all that kind of lands with deer hunting and stuff. So I always tell my wife I'm anti-sports, I'm anti-football and everything. So I'm going to tell my son that if he ever comes home and says I want to play football, we're just going to act like we don't know what it is. We're just
Well,
going to focus on deer hunting.
it's funny you say that because, my dad and mom were involved very deeply in the sports with me. I played sports all the way up through high school. And I don't know, like, it's just, I have a trip planned for Michigan turkey. I got drawed for an out-of-state turkey license, and I had to put in for it and everything. And I got drawed for it, but the opening weekend for Michigan turkey season is my son's first baseball game of the year. And it's hard to miss those opportunities. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to miss my son's first game. I want to support him as much as I can in sports, but I also want to go shoot a longbeard in the face. You know what I mean? So it's hard to make that. It's not hard. I obviously have to be there for him, but it's still hard because those are things that I'm very passionate about that I don't get the turkey season isn't that long. It's a very short period of time. And when you get to travel other states like that, you got to get it done when you can.
So you are you going after the tag or are you staying home?
No, I'm going for sure.
Yeah.
I had a group on my show several weeks back, Mid-Stay Outdoors. They're on YouTube. they're getting ready to be a huge splash in the filming stuff. They're going to be sponsored by some big companies coming up this year, and they're not really big turkey hunters. And I said, I had them on the show. We're talking. They're showing me trail cam pictures of 30 birds in the field and stuff, and I'm like, so you guys like want to have me up there killing some longbeards or what? And they're like, you want to trade a hunt? Like, yeah, let's do that. You come hunt some whitetails with me, and you take me and put me on some turkeys, and we'll film it and kind of have like a YouTube collaboration. So it's going to be a lot of fun going up there and hunting with them guys, even though it may be spread out over a couple weekends.
When are they coming down to deer hunt? Are they
They
coming
haven't
during
said
archery?
yet. Obviously, they have a huge schedule going on with filming
Yeah.
multiple people for what they have going on. So I would say probably late October, maybe mid-November. I'm not really sure what they have planned. They're welcome to come at any point, really.
So a seasoned vet like you, I'm sure you know what day turkey season comes in Indiana. When does that fall?
It always falls on a Wednesday. I believe it's the 28th this year. I may be wrong on that date. I'm pretty sure it's the 28th. But it
Of
always falls
April?
on a Wednesday. That's always weird for an opener for me being midweek. But it's a tradition. I take it off work and I go turkey hunting.
Is that April?
Yes, sir. April.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the third Wednesday in April or whatever it is.
So how long, I guess, does that season run? Is it like 3 weeks or something?
Yeah, it's 3 weeks long.
So I guess if you only had, let's say you had 3 sick days left for the year and you could only use those 3 sick days to turkey hunt, um, are you going the first week, the second week, the third week? How do you kind of judge like when the best time is to go? Is it kind of like the rut where it's like it's here and then it slowly tapers off, takes a little time to get fired up?
Absolutely. Like you said, 3 days. I'm thinking the first 3 days because
Hmm.
I'll have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It falls on the weekend. I get Saturday and Sunday. That's 5 straight turkey days.
That's
And,
smart.
and
That's a hunter's brain right there. Planning with the
absolutely. And I do
weekend.
that a lot. And we'll get into it later, but it's not just. I'm doing almost that in a different sort of way because I'm going different places and I'm extending that as long as I can because the more days you give me in the turkey woods, and the more I can get on them, the more I'm educated on what they're doing, and I'm just having more fun being in the turkey woods. It don't matter if I'm behind that camera or behind the gun.
Are you gonna try to film some turkeys this year?
I am definitely going to film. I had a blast doing it last year. Things are going to be vastly different on the filming aspect of that, but it's still going to be a lot of fun, and it is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I guarantee it. It's not easy to film a deer, so I can imagine trying to film a skittish ass turkey.
Right.
So, when it comes to the time of day, um, I know obviously a lot of people like to hunt them in the morning, but have you ever like, is there ever a good time where maybe it's better to hunt them in the afternoon, or maybe just an area you're like, I can't get in there in the morning, like maybe sneak around and try to set up for afternoon, like planning that in the morning or something? You ever have those kind of situations?
Absolutely. My first Indiana bird, actually, I went to college with a guy that lived in southern Indiana, near the Bedford area, and we went out that morning, got on
So,
some birds.
Southern Indiana.
Southern Indiana, that's southern Indiana compared to where I'm at.
Yeah.
And we get on some birds early in the morning. Doesn't happen. We strike up a bird about noon. Actually, he kills one. You'll ask any turkey hunter, that early afternoon nap after a turkey hunt is one of the best naps that you'll have in your entire life. And we did just that. We took a little nap, ate a little lunch, and he's like, I was really only there for that day. It was opening day. I can't remember exactly what year this is. I want to say 2014 ish. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. I only live like, an hour and a half from here. I can even leave after dark, and I'm not that worried about it. And we went up into this ridge and called, and we got there at 3 o'clock. I had the bird on the ground at 3:15. It took us 15 minutes to kill a turkey, and it was just one of the funnest hunts. At a certain time of the day, it's usually around that 10:30, somewhere in there. A hen will go back and nest and lay on her nest, and those birds they're hot. They're like a rutting buck. They're looking for the next hen. They're looking to breed. They're fired up, and they can be extremely fun to hunt.
Are they running around like trying to find those and bump those hens kind of off their nest, or are they just trying to get them to come to them?
No, I mean when them hens are gone, they're gone. They're not coming back. It don't matter how many times they gobble. You know, it's kind of hard to explain, I guess, in that sense. But they're not running around by any means. They'll do a lot of strutting in the fields, and they're listening. You know, they're waiting for to hear that hen. And there might be a hen out there that maybe hadn't been bred or whatever. She's ready to breed again or whatever the case might be. And he might fall into love, you know, in random places. But he's strutting, he's eating, he's roaming around for sure.
You're looking for love.
Oh, looking for love in all the
Love
wrong
kills,
places.
doesn't it? So, let's talk a little bit about weather. What's kind of like the ideal weather for turkey hunting, and what's maybe on the other side of it, what's considered bad weather?
You know, this is a great question. You know, and turkeys behavior is so much based on that weather. And I'm strictly talking easterns. That's what I have experience with. I've never hunted any other thing. But, you know, you want that sunny, you know, bright 65, 75 degree day, sun shining all day sort of day. They really want to interact and they really get fired up. They're gobbling all day. You know, they're doing their breeding. They're strutting around. They're having a good time. Now, you put some wind and some cloud cover into that, an eastern will flat shut up. He'll gobble on the limb maybe, depending on how strong that wind is. But that weather really affects an eastern bird. They will completely shut up. He might gobble a few times on the limb, hit the ground. He may not gobble the rest of the day.
So cloudy weather is not good for turkey hunting.
Cloudy and windy, you don't want that wind, especially for an eastern. It will shut that eastern completely off. I mean, he'll still do his thing. He'll still chase hens around, but he is not vocal whatsoever.
It's kind of not so much maybe the wind, but I always like cloudy weather when I'm deer hunting.
Oh, absolutely. Deer hunting, yeah. Give me some cloud cover and a 25 to 30 degree day. It's money.
I like it to look like it's getting ready to rain hell on me, but not actually rain.
Right.
Nice dark skies, but it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Little bit of wind. Gosh, I can like almost smell the air.
Oh my
about
God, you got me. I'm ready to deer hunt already. I can't quit talking about it. I've talked about turkeys the last 3 weeks on my show, and and I love turkey hunting. You know, it really is a huge passion of mine. But God, I can't wait to get back in a stand and chase whitetails. It's a whole nother ball game. It's polar opposites, really.
You got some new. We both kind of got some new stuff going on this year. We're both gonna be doing some saddle stuff and changing up different ways to hunt, and it should be. I did a little bit like more mobile setup last year, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm kind of looking forward to being able to be extra mobile next year.
Me too, and I can't wait to do that. You know, we should do a summer thing, maybe a summer saddle learning episode or something. You were both kind of going through that, and I got so many questions and reviews to do anyways. Like I had my mind set on a certain saddle that I've wanted forever, and I just hadn't pulled the trigger on it. That's the only thing I haven't got. I got the sticks and everything, but I saw a saddle yesterday on TikTok of all places, and it's a saddle, and you can also use it for a harness if you're hunting out of a fixed stand, and it looked like something that would be comfortable, and it wasn't even half the price as the other one.
Who makes it? Do you know?
XOP.
Mm.
XOP
Yeah.
Renegade.
Brett bought some sticks, and I'm kind of like on the fence about what to buy with him. So I'm letting him buy everything first and try it out before I dish out a bunch of cash. But what sticks did you end up buying?
I end up going with I can't think of the name right off the top of the bat. But they're awesome. Was it
Are they
API?
Yeah,
is the
they're APIs.
and I did a lot of research. It's not that I just pulled the trigger on something random. I watched a lot of review videos, reviews online and whatnot, and I basically have just under 3 ounces less than what you're paying almost $300 for, and I paid like $215 for it or something like that, or no, $119. Sorry, I don't know where I got the 2 from, but $119 I paid for 3 sticks, and they weigh 3 pounds put together.
So I know a lot of people carry four sticks, don't they?
I think so. I think I can get away with three. I'm not a short person by any means.
Yeah.
I'm right about 6 foot tall, so I think it won't be terrible.
Are you gonna do the oh gosh.
The aider.
Yeah, the eighters.
Yeah, I think I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
buy the aider to put on my bottom step and use it as a kind of to get me 5 foot off the ground.
Yeah, yeah. Do those eighters have to be that brand or can you just kind of throw whatever
I
on
think you
there?
can put just about any aider on there. I could be completely wrong on that. Maybe I haven't done enough
Yeah.
research on that, but I'm definitely going to try to. And the XOP Renegade doesn't really have those kind of like pockets or whatever that they call those.
Yeah,
Like
little
on the one that I want, the tethered one has like you can buy different hauler systems for your lineman's belt and blah blah blah. And I was actually watching. I'm sure you know this name, but Outdoor Alley on
mm,
YouTube.
oh,
She's huge YouTuber. She was kind of the first in the female world on that kind of thing. And like those twist tie kind of deals, the thicker ones, like the
mm,
rubberized,
yeah,
like
yeah, the
yeah,
rubber.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how she brought her platform and her sticks up as she was climbing. She just had them twisted on her hip on her saddle.
Huh.
I think
That's
that would
pretty
be a
smart.
very quiet way to do it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And kind of take little bits and pieces of information from everybody and just kind of
You're
throw
gonna
together
make it
what
your
works for
own,
you.
anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm settled on the cruiser. I haven't totally committed yet, but it's gonna be soon. I think the sticks too. I may end up going with the ones you like. I'm kind of
I'm
waiting for
telling
you
you,
to
buddy,
climb
they
a
are
tree with
super
them.
light. I wish I could have brought one out here for you after the show. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But very nice sticks and very super lightweight.
Yeah, super easy to kind of stack.
Yeah, absolutely. They all kind of click into one another, and then it also comes with a strap. I don't know if I'm going to be using that strap depending on how I put it on my backpack, but it would definitely work if I wanted to use it.
Yeah, I kind of like those twist tie things. Maybe that you throw some twist ties
Yeah,
around them or something super small. You can kind of put them in your bag and wad them up in a ball. And
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so back to this weather thing. How do you kind of adjust accordingly if you do get like shitty weather? Is it just like you have to back out and go home, or is there stuff you can kind of do?
No, there's definitely stuff that you can do. Let's just put this in different scenarios. First scenario being too windy. You got to get their attention. You definitely have to get loud. A box call works great when it's really windy out. Um, a funny thing about a turkey is when the wind is very strong, you add rain into that mix. They don't like being in the woods. They don't like movement. It scares them. So they get to open fields and they can be almost easier to hunt. I killed my biggest bird that I have killed since I started turkey hunting in a straight downpour. He wanted to get to that field. I happened to be sitting on the edge of that field. He was going out and open, and I killed him. And I think that day I saw like 30 turkeys, and they were
Mm,
all in the middle of a field because they're scared to death to be in there where they think something's going to get them.
hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. How do you, if it's windy and let's say it's windy and raining and they're out in the field, but they're, let's say 300 yards off, are you calling them in or are you trying to
I
make
mean, you
the
can
make
try
the
as much
slip?
as you want to call them in. After that, it's either you got to know where they want to go, or say it's later in the day. You know about where they're roosting. Try to catch them back on the way to that roost tree. That's you're doing that a lot anyways when you're afternoon hunting, but especially and when they're out in the field like that, they're probably not that far from where they're gonna go. That's the crazy thing about trying to scout turkeys. I don't remember if I saw that in your notes or not, but when you scout turkeys, they'll tell you exactly where they're going to be. You see them weeks ahead of time in a field. You're on an edge, or just outside of a wood somewhere. That's most likely where they're going to be. I mean, they're creatures of habit, just like the rest of us, and they're most likely going to stay on some kind of pattern for the most part.
So you talked a little bit about roost trees and stuff. What's a good way to kind of find those? Like, obviously, there's hundreds and hundreds of trees in the woods. How do you know which one's the roost tree and which one's not? And do they change pretty frequently? Or
No, they'll roost pretty close to the same place. Um, it's their roost is different in the fall that I found in my experiences. Their roost in the fall is different than the roost in the spring. But once he has like a spring roost, he's most likely within 50 to 100 yards of the same area every night that he goes to bed, unless something happens. A coyote has ran him off, or something scared him and he flew up in the tree and he never came back down. He just slept there. But if you're looking for a roost tree and you don't actually roost the turkey itself, it can be hard to find. A lot of the times you look for some scratchings around an area, and maybe you even see some scat that's kind of down the side of the tree, sort of thing. But if you don't exactly know what you're looking for, it might be a hard thing to find if the turkeys weren't around. They like to roost over water quite a bit. But down in Kentucky, they roost along the cliff edges to the Lake Cumberland where I'm at, and they're pretty much in the same spot every time I go down there to hunt.
Is there certain kind of trees that they prefer?
Wide open, you know what I mean? That big branches they can get up on. You might see 4 to 5 turkeys up in a tree. I don't know particularly a certain tree like oak or elm or whatever. Somebody might know something better than me on that. But what I found is they like to roost over water.
Yeah. So let's just say in the scenario that, let's say you're hunting a big piece of public or a giant piece of private, and maybe there's some different flocks on there, and of a couple roost locations. Let's say there's 2 flocks in 2 different trees, and you're going to go hunting the next morning. How do you decide which tree to kind of set up on? Is there any way to kind of decide which one might be better?
No, I mean, it's really just kind of go off of, if I have 2 roost spots, how far apart? You can give me that kind of in the situation. How far apart are these roosts?
Let's say they are 1,500 yards apart.
Yeah, I'm going to sit right between them because you're most likely going to get some kind of interaction on any of the roosts. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm the type of person, I don't like to get too close to a roost.
Okay.
Within 100 yards of a roost, and I'm sweating, because I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to bump him. I don't want to bump any hens going in or out of the spot. And when you hear him gobbling, you can be pretty close to where he's at. You know what I mean? And I've been super close before and not even known it. We heard a gobbler at a far end of a field one day. We sat 200 yards, 300 yards from where we thought he was at, and actually there was a bird less than 50 yards from where we were at. We didn't bump him, and when he gobbled, he literally almost made me pee myself.
Scared ya?
He did. I had no idea he was there. When he lets out, that wakes the woods up for sure.
So let's pretend here we're gonna kind of play this show into scenarios, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's pretend you went in and you're set up. It's before daylight, and you're getting ready to start calling. Tell me, or tell the audience, kind of what your setup looks like as far as how you're sitting, what you're sitting against, all that kind of stuff, and also kind of talk about the kind of calling you're going to do to initiate that fly down.
It's turkey hunting is very, very situational. You can get yourself in a lot of situations very quickly in a turkey hunt. So, I like to get myself, like I said, within 200 yards maybe of a roost. And it all depends, setup wise. I'm going to want to be facing where I think he is going to be, or where I think I can call him to. And it's also dependent on if I have decoys or that sort of thing. Setting up against a tree if I'm just in a vest. But if I'm in my turkey chair, which is a very comfortable thing I recommend for anybody that turkey hunts, I can pretty much set up whatever because I don't really need anything right up against my back. Do I want to be camouflaged? Absolutely. I want to be tucked up in some brush, some underlining brush, or up against a tree. But I wear like a 3D leafy suit, so it kind of like makes me look like a bush wherever I set, which can be very helpful in situations, especially on field edges and that sort of thing. But you're all going off what's he doing for me. My language and what turkey talk I'm going to throw at him is all based on what he's doing. I'm the type of person, I will not throw a note out in the woods until I've heard one gobble. And if it's anything, I usually, like, the rule of thumb is you hear that first owl, because you hear a lot of owls early morning, or a crow. And when that crow finally hits, if he hears that, he's gonna gobble. It gets him fired up. And once I hear that crow, I may use a crow or an owl, and then trying to figure out where he's at, I'll get set up, and I'll do like a fly down sequence. It's a very soft and sweet yelps, and I might even use my hat or a fan that I have in my vest and kind of do a fly down sequence. I only really do a fly down sequence if I've seen a bird pitch out, across the field or close to me. I hear a bird pitch down, or physically see a bird pitch down the field, and I'll do it. I want to sound like those other hens too, because they're trying to get his attention just like I am, and that's when I'll start with very, very soft, sweet tree yelps. I won't get aggressive until he's hit the ground, and really depending on how he's talking, if I get aggressive or not.
Okay, so let's pretend that you're set up in the morning. He flies down, he gobbles a little bit, he makes some sounds, some calls, and then you realize that he's not coming to you. You either see him take off across the field, whatever the case might be. What's the next step? Let's just say he's silent and he disappeared.
And that happens a lot, especially with the eastern bird. They come down, they get henned up, they shut up. They hit the ground and they shut up, as a lot of people say. You just gotta, if you've heard, that's the only bird you've heard, you may try to make a move on him, or you may just sit still, sit in the edge of a field, or a ridge or whatever you're on, and just listen. That's only going to help you. You're only going to hear them because they're very vocal animals. You're going to hear them talk. If you don't hear another bird get fired up and you think he went that way, get your OnX or your GPS up on your phone and see maybe where you think he went, and maybe try to do a full circle on him, or a move you think he's make. But Easterns move very slowly. You may be at one end of the field, he may be at end of the field, but even answering you and strutting, it may take him an hour to get to you, and he may be in the same field as you. They're very slow birds.
If they're not trying to get away, then they're fast, right?
Yeah, unless they see something they don't like and they're ready to really stand their ground and whoop some ass. That's a whole nother story. They see your decoy or whatever, they come running in, they're ready to fight.
So I have shot my fair share of deer. I have not shot a turkey. Is it harder to kill a turkey or harder to kill a deer?
Depends. That's a depending kind of thing too. Are you talking about just killing a bird in general, or a deer in general?
Let me make this more specific and more comparable. Is it harder to kill a jake, or is it harder to kill a button buck?
It's harder to kill a jake. They're both stupid. Both are stupid. Let's ramp this up even a higher notch than that. Let's say a 3.5, 4-year-old whitetail versus a 3-year-old tom. That whitetail's harder to kill. If
Really?
you can talk that turkey language and talk sweet to him and tell him what he wants to hear in that situation, you can call him right in your lap. Tell me one time you've ever killed a 140-inch deer in your lap. It's not that's
Never,
just not going to
never
happen.
killed a 140-inch deer.
Okay.
Thanks.
You get what I mean, though. You made my point. How many years have you been deer hunting, and have you ever killed a 140-inch deer? I can count on two hands as many 3-year-old toms as I've killed. You know what I mean?
Just off topic here, can you score my deer I shot this year by looking at a picture of it?
Sure.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's actually, I think it's the picture when you text me.
Yeah. Just we're going off topic here, guys, but I just want to see how accurate it is, because actually the lady doing the Euro mount is going to be done with it in a couple of weeks. So
really,
I'm going to be yeah, she got the Beatles are getting ready to go on it, I think, but we're going to see how close you are judging off of a picture.
Okay.
I can shoot you a picture too if you can't find it.
I found it.
Okay.
It's hard to see in my phone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Is he an 8-pointer?
Yeah, he's broke off.
Okay, then I'm gonna go 119.
119. Oh
119.
God. I see. I've never had a deer scored, so I really have no idea. If I'm guessing, I'm saying 128, and
Okay.
that's just
The one that
that's
you
just
can
me
see
being
over this shoulder right here, that's a
yeah.
135. So you
Okay.
compare that, see how close you are to that.
Mine's pretty wide, but doesn't have very much mass, so I don't know how much that
Well, it's
contributes to
weird
that.
because they do deductions. You said he was broke up. That made
Yeah.
me. They gave me an indicator that he's going to have some deductions. He's got some broke up stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. He may net higher than that, obviously, because
Yeah.
he's a pretty wide buck, and he's got some mass to him. The deer behind me. I wish I could move where you could see me. That deer. That's my favorite deer, and that
Oh
scores
yeah.
122.
I really like the tines, the way that they.
Yeah, I like how they
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah.
I feel like that's my biggest deer, but the one here on my far end is a 137. So I know about. I'm pretty close. I'm usually pretty close.
We should do some kind of I don't know. Somebody wants to message us and make some kind of like dare. If Brett's closer, then he has to make me do something. If I'm closer, he has to do something.
That's
I'm
awesome.
telling you, he's probably closer because I have no idea about scoring
And
deer.
I'm not saying that I'm an expert on that by any means. I've been fooled before, but that's just a guess. I could
Yeah,
be totally wrong. I want to see how close. And when I say the 119, I mean gross, not net.
yeah,
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Bare Beans Coffee. Bare Beans Coffee was built by passionate hunters like you and I, and their mission is to give back to wildlife, specifically bear conservation. Bare Beans Coffee offers both ground and whole bean options, and their flavors include dark roast, hibernation roast, and spring awakening. When drinking Bare Beans Coffee, you can be confident that you are getting a high quality cup of joe and supporting bear conservation across North America. 10% of all profits from Bare Beans are donated to carefully selected partners such as the Western Bear Foundation. Visit bearbeans.com to buy coffee and support bear conservation today.
yeah. I shot it with a crossbow, so it's gonna have to go into Boone and Crockett. It's not gonna qualify for Pope and Young, so I kind of screwed myself on that. I'm gonna need a little extra inches, I think.
Yeah, I'm ready to get back into some whitetails, man. I could talk for absolute hours on whitetails. They fascinate me. I love every aspect of chasing a big buck, and chasing big bucks just fires me up, man.
So back to turkey hunting. We talked a little bit about how long you kind of stay out during the day. You mentioned taking the afternoon nap. Is there ever an instance, or do you ever find yourself staying out from dawn till dusk?
No, not really.
No.
I love chasing them. But there's when I do like my trip to Kentucky every year. It's a vacation that I take off of work, so it's me having a vacation too. I may, hunt him till noon, 1 o'clock, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to throw a pole in the water or drink a cold beer or whatever. Like I'm ready to relax for the rest of the day. I'll make my way back to the farm later in the evening in the Rhino or whatever 4-wheeler and roost him, and you get to know a bird's pattern over a 4 or 5 day period.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I know that there's a big debate about Grandpa wearing, um,
Flannel.
plaid and flannel and stuff in the tree stand. When it comes to like turkey hunting, though, how much does camo matter? And do patterns, I guess, between different brands like Real Tree, Mossy Oak, how much of that you think really matters? And it's kind of a three-part question, but what are you wearing during turkey season, and does it differ than what you're wearing during maybe early archery season? Because
You
I
know,
know you're not going to be wearing cold weather gear, obviously, but
no, I mean you can. I've been
yeah,
on turkey hunts where it was cold. Youth season in Kentucky last year was 30 degrees in the morning. I had to have a little something on or I'd have froze because my regular get up for turkey hunting is just some very light pants. You can almost see through mine, and I wear like a cooling Under Armour underneath them. Try to keep my legs cool, and a long sleeve. But in my personal opinion, and this is just me, I'm nobody. I think pattern matters when it comes to turkeys. I wear Mossy Oak Obsession. It's a spring pattern that has greenery in it. I think it just looks good, and there's other patterns that look good too. Like, and it's funny this coming out of my mouth. I'm a huge Realtree guy, especially on deer hunting. That's what I wear. I wear Realtree Extra. Like all my stuff's Realtree Extra. But turkey hunting, Mossy Oak, I think, has the best turkey hunting patterns. Mossy Oak Obsession, Mossy Oak Bottomland is a very popular turkey camo pattern. And I believe it absolutely matters, man, to put yourself their eyesight. You're trying to fool a whitetail. What are you trying to fool? You're trying to fool his nose. In turkey hunting, you got to fool his eyes. He can't smell, for one. He ain't gonna smell you. He can't smell, but you're fooling his eyes. It's like us looking through a pair of binoculars. Like he's got great vision. I've had birds 50, 60 yards, and all I did was stick my thumb up and cock the hammer back on my gun, and he took off running. Like I
Oh,
barely
wow.
made any movement, and he was gone. They have very, very good eyesight, and it's they can pick you off from a distance if you're not hidden well. If you're just standing there, they're going to pick you off. You really got to be ready to rock when they come in the range.
How close do they have to be before you have to be set up? Like, I guess
I'm
like
set
against
up.
it.
I'm set up. I'm already on the ground. I have a knee pad that I wear, and it's got like a V groove in it, and I can set my shotgun in the groove of that V. And I'm already sitting on the ground, and my gun's kind of already up. So once I see him, I'm kind of already in the position to kill him. Once he comes in range, I'm not moving. I might click my safety off, and I'm going to move my hand as slowly as possible, especially if he gets close. Because if he gets close and he sees you do that, it's almost like a clicking your safety off, pulling the trigger situation, because they are completely gone, but they are fast on their legs.
Is that knee pad made specifically for that kind of stuff?
Yes, sir. It's.
Yeah.
I wish I had a picture of it, but it's like a V, and you stick your barrel into your barrel in there, and it's your one leg's usually tucked back, and your other leg's hiked up, and I shoot right-handed, so my left leg comes up. It's like the opposite of my dominant shooting eye.
Do you know who makes that off the top of your head?
I think it's Realtree actually that I bought it from. I
Yeah.
bought it years ago. I've had the same one since I was 15 or 16 years old.
I feel like that could probably be useful to a lot of people because I never heard of that.
Well,
Obviously, I've
like
never killed
that,
any
and a lot
turkeys,
of
but
people use like the sticks for their gun,
yeah,
the tripods or
extra
whatever.
stuff you got to carry around and set up,
Absolutely.
and yeah, yeah, that can get cumbersome.
Yeah, for sure.
So we talked about clothing. Let's talk about boots. You obviously move around a lot. Um, are you wearing like rubber muck boots, or are you wearing something more lace up? And is there advantages or disadvantages to either one of them?
I mean, absolutely. It's just like deer hunting, and I've used um, my muck boots for bow hunting and turkey hunting for a very long time. And the more you walk in those rubbers, they affect my heel quite a bit. I have bigger feet, and it really does rub my heel raw by the end of the day if I don't have some really good boot socks on or whatever. And I don't think they can be as comfortable. I've never used a laced up boot turkey hunting, and I'm going to tell you right now that's exactly what I'm going to do this spring. I changed over this fall from wearing rubber boots to wearing hiking boots, deer hunting, and it changed me completely on that. So I'm definitely going to a more comfortable hiking lace up boot when I turkey hunt this year.
Cool. Are your lace up boots waterproof? I imagine you come across a lot of water.
Just depends, man. I mean, really, what you're hunting. I mean, if it's something that you're gonna have to deal with, I would recommend
Yeah.
wearing rubber boots. If it's not nothing that you need to deal with, you're just dealing with fields and pastures and stuff. You really don't have to worry about it too much.
I feel like lace up's probably a good option for me, but I do walk through. Sometimes I feel like when I deer hunt a lot or even squirrel hunt a lot, I'm often up to 2 inches away from going over my boot in water. So that's one thing that concerns me with lace up boots.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So a piece of gear that all turkey hunters probably carry around, I would say, is going to be a vest. Um, so I'm sure there's high end and low end vests. Can I talk about if it's worth the money to spend on an expensive vest, or does it really matter?
You know, it all depends on where you're at in your turkey hunting adventures. Would I spend a considerable amount on turkey vest? I would. For the comfortability, a lot of these vests now have like stands built into them where you don't need a tree. You just put the stand out, you lean up against the stand, kind of does what my chair does, except for I don't have to carry around the chair that's built into my vest. But most vests are kind of expensive anyways. You may get a vest or two out there that's not that expensive, and you're probably going to feel it. The pad may not be as thick, it may not be as comfortable, may not have as many pockets or whatever, and I think it does matter, and that's all from my perspective. I want a nice vest that's going to protect the calls that I spent money on and be able to hold this and that. When I'm out there, I need some pockets. I need a pocket for a sandwich or some crackers or whatever, and a Gatorade and a flashlight and shotgun shells and calls, and you need those pockets.
Do you what's considered expensive, I guess, and what's considered
I think
cheap?
I spent like $120 on my vest.
Okay.
So it's not like outrageous. So there is outrageous vests out there.
Yeah, I think
some
I
really
picked one up
expensive
for
ones.
I think I picked one up at Walmart for like $20 or $30. It's
And
fine.
that's how it
Cheap
was on my
brand.
first one. My first
Yeah.
one was one from Walmart. I think I spent $30 on it, and it lasted a long time until I wanted the upgrade. Just like anything else, when you've been hunting for a long time, you want to upgrade certain materials to your game, and that's one thing I upgraded on for sure.
So do you carry a pack along with that vest?
Nope, just
No
the
pack.
pack. It's like I said, there's a lot of pockets in my vest, and there's a lot of stuff in there. I got water, and like I said, crackers or something from the store that I can munch on when I get hungry mid morning. If I haven't already filled myself up on McDonald's breakfast or something, or
Uh-oh.
grandma's breakfast.
Oh God, no McDonald's breakfast. Oh, you're making my ears bleed. So I imagine that turkey vest has got to be lighter than your elk hunting backpack you're carrying in during deer season.
Yes, for sure. It is lighter for sure, and you're not dressed up, like you are when you go deer hunting, so you're more lightweight, and I don't pack it that deep. I'm pretty comfortable, and I can move pretty slick around for sure.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit at the beginning of the episode about filming turkeys. Is it really as hard as people say it is?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
You not only do you have to hide yourself, but you got to hide that camera. The easiest way to do it is out of a blind. With turkeys, we have a double bull, whatever, I can't remember, dark horse or whatever it is, blind. And for turkeys, you can set that blind up in the middle of a field, and it does not affect those turkeys. And you don't really dress in camo when you're doing that. You're blacking yourself out, like the background on your blind. Like in Missouri last year, me and Ryan wore black sweatshirts and black balcavas in the turkey blind. I was bow hunting turkeys out of a blind, and he had the camera on a tripod. It was very easy. We just sat back in the blind, and we had a hen 4 yards outside the blind. I could have reached out and grabbed her. She didn't even know we were there.
Do you think you could, obviously anything's possible nowadays, but how hard would it be to self-film a turkey hunt?
I'm not saying it's impossible, because I've seen a lot of people do it, and but it is very difficult. Like I was telling you, with the hand movement, you're trying to move your camera and back in and out of the frame to get the turkey in there when you're going to shoot, and then you still have to handle your shotgun and shoot. Which I had Team Wingbone on my show this week. Incredible turkey hunter from the state of Louisiana. And Steven does a lot of turkey hunting, self-filming, and he gets that big camera to a certain point, and he actually has what's called a lid cam. There's a camera in his hat, and he somehow pushes a button or whatever, and it starts recording through his hat, and you see a lot of the kill shots on his stuff through that lid cam, which you get to a certain point, and you can't move no more. Are you really going to blow your shot at a nice bird by trying to get it on film, or are you going to push the button on your hat and pull the trigger?
Is that just a camera that attaches to his hat, or it's built into the hat?
No, it's like built into the hat. Like a deal you clip in, kind of just like those lights that are built into hats.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing. It slides back, and it's got camera built into it.
Huh. Maybe that's something.
It's only like $100. It's not even that expensive.
That might be something to look into.
Even deer
for
hunting,
squirrel hunting, or deer hunting.
Yeah.
Or any kind of hunting.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything would work.
So let's pretend you go out first day. You're just super lucky. 5 minutes after first shooting light, you shoot a bird. He drops over dead. You're going to grab it, take some pictures, head back to the truck. Talk about kind of how you process or field dress or clean a bird. And is there multiple ways to kind of do it? And I know a lot of people just like breast them out, I think, don't they? I just imagine myself shooting a bird. I'm going to pluck all the feathers out and roast it for Thanksgiving. Like I wanted the whole bird, but kind of talk about the different ways to kind of do that and what you might keep.
Yeah, we personally, and me and everybody that's kind of around me, we just take the breast. You pluck the feathers away from the chest bone, and kind of like a duck or whatever, you're just gonna come down straight the breastplate and cut out your breast meat on each side. But the legs are dark meat. I'm not a dark meat guy. I really enjoy the breast. Pretty much that's it. So, if it's a bigger bird and it's something that you want to do, you can always, clip the feet off of it and save the feet that got the spurs and kind of thing or whatever. I see people have them hanging from the rearview mirrors of their truck sort of thing. I actually had a guy, and I'd already killed enough birds when I was 18 years old when I graduated high school. I actually had a buddy of my dad's make me a necklace. Had spurs in the toes off of a turkey that I had killed. I didn't even know that they did it, but pretty cool. You can do stuff with with the beard and the fan. If it's a big enough bird, I'm most likely taking the fan off of it. I don't have a full body mount on a turkey. I want one really bad. I said I would never do that until I killed a double beard, so I'm kind of waiting for that first double beard if I'm ever able to pull that off. So some people may want the bird. Some people do that. That's just something that I've never really done.
Yeah. If you do get a full turkey mount, is that something you plan to set on your basement floor? Or?
Oh, absolutely not. Nothing's going on this basement floor anymore. But I have a Jack Daniels barrel here in the corner back behind me. It's usually got a LED Colts light on it and some other sports memorabilia that I have. But if I ever get a bird, I either want it gobbling or strutting, and I'm probably going to put it on top of that whiskey barrel.
Brett, we had a ton of rain here in Indiana. Brett's a couple hours north of me, but his basement had 2 inches of water in it the other day and gotten a bunch of his hunting gear. So
yeah, if anybody wants to start a GoFundMe for my my deer hunting stuff for the summer, I'll take anything I can get.
Tell them everything that got ruined.
Camera arm, camera base, binoculars, rangefinder, possibly some clothing. Very fortunate that it didn't get my camera itself, and just kind of messed up a lot of things. I mean, my gun safe itself was sitting in 2 inches of water, so you can only imagine how freak out mode went for me.
Man, I was thankful at least the mounts are hung up kind of high.
Right.
If you get to that level of water, you may just be at a total loss anyway.
Right.
So, how do you cook those breasts? What you putting them in the oven, or are you smoking them, or?
My favorite is just to cut them up and flour them and deep fry them. It's really good that way, with whatever kind of dipping sauce you want. It's so juicy that you really don't need any kind of dipping sauce. But, we'll do that up for like a football game or a race or something. We'll cut them up in strips and get them all floured up and egg batter and throw them back in the batter and then fry them up. And it's kind of a fun thing to do. I've done several different things. That's probably my favorite. Another favorite I like is just putting the breast in a crock pot and putting some Italian dressing in there and letting it cook throughout the day, and then come back and pulling it apart and adding a little barbecue sauce to it. It's pretty good.
What's a good way to ruin wild turkey?
I don't know, man. I don't say I've ever had it ruined. Most of the time, it's very delicious. It don't matter how you do it. Could you even do like little turkey nuggets in the deep fryer or something? Fried
Is it
up. Anything fried's good.
is it easy to dry out? I guess that
Yeah,
might be
for
the point
sure.
I was getting at.
Yeah, you don't want to put it in that fryer for too long or bake it for too long or even in the crock pot for too long. It's not anything's not good dried out, especially wild game. We talk, deer meat and stuff. A guy on your show talking about cooking wild game, and I don't know if he was him that said it, you or said it, but people can really mess up venison.
Oh yeah,
Overcooking venison. The medium to medium rare range is unbelievable on venison and beef. Beef personally for myself, I'm a big medium rare guy. And you just ruin it. It's like this is
yeah,
delicacy, and you done botched it.
yeah. I always tell everybody, like, if you're cooking a backstrap and when it looks like medium, or like most people, when it looks done, I'll put in quotation marks, it's too late.
Yeah, it's already gonna have so
Yeah.
much heat in it. The time you're gonna eat it, it's not gonna be good. I mean,
For
it might still be good, but
for
not
me,
like it would be.
it seems like I'll cook it and it'll be like medium rare, and then by the time you get it out of the skillet and everything, it's almost medium. It's like it just keeps cooking or something.
So
It's very easy to ruin.
So I did a cooking video. I haven't released it yet, and I'm still trying to put it together. It didn't go exactly the way I wanted it to go, but we took deer tenderloins out, pounded them down, and made country fried steak with them, with mashed potatoes and gravy and some collard greens, and it was amazing. I don't know if my footage reflects how good it really was. We had some beverages that night, kind of thing, but eating wild game is huge at my house, as I know that is at yours.
Let's yeah, I had lasagna tonight with
Ooh.
deer. Can you imagine that?
Right.
Let's this wasn't really on the question list, but let's talk a little bit about filming those cooking videos. What's the time like behind that? Like, let's say, how long, let me ask you this. How long was your video once it was edited and done?
I mean, I still haven't really put it all together. It probably wouldn't be long. Maybe 4 to 5 minutes long. It probably wouldn't even be that long of a video.
How I want to give kind of people a perspective that haven't filmed or put out videos on YouTube or anything like that. How long did it take you to shoot all the footage as far as like um, recording everything and all that stuff?
I mean, as much as it took to cook it, a half hour,
Yeah.
45 minutes, I'm filming everything to him pounding the tenderloins down to making the mashed potatoes to flouring up everything to just the cook time sitting there. I had the GoPro going. Finally got the new GoPro. I have it linked to my phone. As I'm standing behind the big camera behind him cooking, I turn the GoPro on and can see the footage on the GoPro as it's filming on my phone. Kind of have a cool view, so you mix that in there. I had some people talking in the background, which what really threw it off. They
Uh-oh.
didn't realize that their voice could be heard on a microphone that can have a mouse fart in the corner and you hear it. But apparently they didn't know that their voice would be heard. So that's what I'm going to struggle with. I don't know if I can edit over some of it with music and make it play out. There's one scene where he presents the plate and you can hear people talking in the background, which it happens. We had a lot of fun doing it, and that's why I'm not mad, because I'm going to do another one. I just look at the running time on the venison Manhattans that we did on YouTube, and it's 13 minutes long. So it's a good little chunk that we put together, and we really enjoy cooking here at my house. It shows a little bit on me. In the summertime, it's bigger in the summertime for me. Sundays at my house, watching the race. People like coming over watching the race at my house. We fry up 3 pounds of walleye in an evening, just sitting there, kind of bullshitting in the garage, drinking beer, watching the race, having a good Sunday, throwing cornhole in the driveway, having a good time as close friends and family.
He's painting the picture well for Indiana.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know we talked a little bit too about you said you're going to do some cooking videos, and that's something I planned on doing too if I could ever get the time. Always messing with these podcasts and work and life and everything,
Right.
but yeah, it's something I plan on doing too. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but I don't know. Maybe we can collaborate on some of that
Well,
stuff.
maybe if we ever get to hunt together, like I know that um, Kurt
Yeah,
tagged you in Wild on Go Wild today, saying that he wants to come up and hunt in Indiana. Maybe we do a collab in a state forest somewhere, doing some deer hunting together, and maybe do like a campfire cooking video would be a very cool
yeah,
aspect of that.
that'd be super cool. You're not a heart guy, right?
I am not a heart guy, but I am not. I've tried so much stuff culinary wise that I never thought I would like that I like. So I'm not opposed to trying it. I will always try something until I don't like it, and I'll be straight with you if I like it or if I don't like it.
Um, maybe we can cook you up some heart, or since you said you're not scared to try anything, I can hook you up with the guy on the last episode, Garrett. He'd love to eat a possum with you.
I am not eating a possum. I can tell you that is nothing that's going into my mouth. So I go to a big, we call it the Winter Fry every year. It's some local farmers here close to me. It was a couple weeks ago, had a blast. I try a lot of stuff there. I mean, they cook some stuff up that I can remember being 14 or 15 years old and going to this cookout. It's a big thing around me for everybody involved. And I can remember this guy saying, "Hey, you want to play to this?" And I'm like, "What is it?" He's like, "It's emu." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." And this old farmer called me out. I was 15 years old. You know, he's probably in his 70s or 80s, and he called me a name, and I was like, "Okay, let me try this." So I tried it, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is like really good." So I never turned down for that kind of thing. And this year I tried. They had beaver, they had bear, they had shark, but the most thing they cook up at this Winter Fry is fish, and you will have any type of fish that you can possibly think of. You know, I've had kind of the same situation. Try this, tell me if you like it. Well, I ate it, and I was like, "That is delicious. What is that?" Well, this is carp. I'm like, "That there's no way this is carp." They're like, "This is carp." I'm like, that is unbelievable because that tastes delicious. It's a certain way they clean it or whatever, but it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. And I'm not going to lie to you, I've had bull testicles at this Winter Fry, and I'm not too ashamed.
Please tell me they were raw.
Hell, I'm not afraid to admit that I liked it. It was really good.
Yeah,
Talk about that. It was kind of like a thicker hush puppy, if you will, and I kind of liked it.
Huh.
I'm sure people are going to really comment on this section of the podcast, like, this guy likes bull ball.
Oh, man, that's great. Is that something you can buy at the store or what?
I have no idea. They're farmers, so they get them quite a bit.
Yeah. Have you searched for them afterwards?
I have not. It was just something that I maybe had one or two alcoholic beverages that, you know, kind of helped my decision on that. And I actually, I'm not going to lie to you, I had more than one.
Must have really been good.
Yeah, they were. I'm not going to lie to you, buddy. They were good.
So, that's funny. Biggest goal for you this turkey season? Obviously, it's to shoot a turkey, but is there anything like you want to shoot a double beard? You want to like shoot one in the first 5 minutes? You want to kill one in like 5 different states? What's your biggest goal?
I want to get one on film. I want to get one of those kills from. It doesn't matter if it's somebody else that kills it or me personally that kills it. I want to get one on. I want to get a kill on film for the spring.
Yeah, you think you're gonna make it happen? Don't want to say. Don't want to jinx yourself.
I don't want to jinx myself, so I'm not going to say yes or no. But I'm going to try to put myself in as best position as I possibly can.
So you're gonna travel to Michigan. Anywhere else you plan on traveling to? You gonna go down to Kentucky?
Yeah, I'm going down to Kentucky. That's where my season's going to start. So I have a buddy. He actually did the first ever podcast with me on my show. I hunted with him for a long time. He's actually kind of a distant cousin. He's getting ready to go fight overseas, and he's going to be gone for like a whole year. And we've deer hunted a lot over the years, and he's going to miss all this coming deer season. So I told him that he could go to Kentucky with me. I'm gonna try to get him on a bird. Like I said, if it's me that shoots one or him that shoots one behind a camera, either way, I'm still gonna go and try to film that sort of thing. But taking him out there and trying to get him on a bird would be a pretty cool video.
Heading over to Ukraine, huh?
Close.
Yeah.
I think he's like within 20 hours of there.
Yeah. Getting set up on the old line.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's just the National Guard, but it's
Yeah.
still serving your country.
Yeah. Cool. So I guess I want something we probably should have touched on earlier in the show, but we're going to touch on it now anyway. Talk about
Thank you.
the population of, whoa, I think Brett just got a beer delivered to
I
him.
just did get a beer delivered. That's pretty good there.
Wow.
You have the Bear Beans lady. I got the Bud Light lady.
The Bear Beans lady.
She's gonna hate me for that.
That's a story for another time. Anyway, the population in Indiana. Talk about turkey population in Indiana, kind of compared to Kentucky, because in Kentucky you can kill 2 birds, in Indiana only 1. So why such the difference?
Just population. In Kentucky, anywhere that you go in Kentucky, for the most part, it's gonna have a pretty good population of turkeys. Here in Indiana, you have the northern half. I would say from just a little bit north of 465 up to Lake Michigan, you're going to have some population, and then southern Indiana has a pretty good population, and just central Indiana where I'm at, we don't have any. So, I mean, we have very little. You might have a flock here or there, but compared to another state that has that many, it's just a whole nother story. So you're obviously going to get bigger opportunities and, see a lot more birds, and you just have a lot more action on your hunts.
So, number one advice, I guess, for someone wanting to get started in turkey hunting?
I would just say just experience it, and I would probably tell you the same thing deer hunting or any other type of hunting. Everybody's going to tell you how to do it, and you can take bits and pieces and make it your own. Watch YouTube videos for the most part, or, Primo's Turkey Language, or, whoever is going to be putting turkey content out there. And, you're going to get a little bit of a feel for it, but you have to learn those experiences. You have to learn how to talk to the turkeys, their expressions, what those expressions mean. When they're talking to you, you need to be able to kind of understand what's going through their mind too, to be able to get on them. So I would say, just as a first-time turkey hunter or somebody young into it, just experience it. Go out and have fun and learn the turkey woods. Don't let anybody pressure you into anything, and just make it your own and have a lot of fun doing it. And that's what I want people to have as far as just outdoors, period. Just go have fun. You know what I mean? Don't put too much pressure on yourself.
I think I'm no turkey expert at all. Like I said, never even shot one, but I think just hunting in general, you have to get out and experience it. If you just watch videos on it, you'll never get better. You kind of got to learn kind of what the woods is kind of your teacher, I feel like.
Absolutely. You know what I mean by waking up with the woods. When you're deer hunting, you're sitting in the stand and the woods is, coming alive around you. It's the same thing with turkey hunting, except for the animal that you're chasing is very vocal. You're going to hear those birds gobble on the roost, and it's going to get you fired up. Some people that may have, get in that situation may want to call to them right off the bat and get the birds fired up or whatever and have fun with it. But sometimes you need a little woodsmanship and learn that that's maybe not the best case for you, and the way to approach the way to talk to him. You want it to sound natural. You don't want to sound out of place, because any wildlife has taught you over the years that when something's out of place, it's not right to them, and then they're gone. You know what I mean? They're not going to stay around for very long.
My ADHD is kicking in right now, so I got this wild thought. My deer obviously look really dead. They have no eyeballs or anything like your deer do behind you. I'm thinking maybe you need to make your deer behind you. I think they all need names. They need to be co-hosts on your show.
All right, that'd be kind of cool. Put
Can
little
name each
hats
one.
on them.
Yeah. So I got these in the mail. These are
Ooh.
for anyone listening. I'm showing stickers on. Oh God, if I can get them straight up. I'm showing Blue River bow hunting stickers
Those some good looking stickers.
on the YouTube right here. Got these from Brett today in the mail. He's been talking about sending them to me for 3 months, so I don't know if they got lost or what happened. But
Hey,
yeah,
they got there, didn't they?
you guys should, if you guys like this kind of content, because my show and Brett's show it's definitely different, but it's kind of similar in some ways.
Absolutely.
So if you like this show, you may want to check out Blue River Bow Hunting Podcast. If you like his show enough, hit Brett up.
Yeah,
He has stickers, and he'll.
If anybody is an hour 8 deep into this and they really want some stickers, message me on whatever social media you can find me on, and I will send you some stickers.
Ooh, free of charge?
Free of charge. I'll send you some stickers as long as like 100 people don't hit me up on
Oh my gosh!
I don't think I have enough to cover all that.
100 people get through an hour and 8 minutes and 37 seconds of this.
I'd say you're
I'll
doing
be
pretty
ecstatic.
good.
I'll send you
Right.
stickers too. All right, Brett. Appreciate you coming on. Can you tell everybody exactly where to find you on social media so they can claim their free stickers?
Oh, well, if you can find me on social media, you message me. But I'm on Facebook, Blue River Bow Hunting, Twitter, Instagram. Go Wild's a favorite for us for sure. Anywhere you can find a podcast, I'm available. Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, Breacher, all those sort of things. I'm there. So definitely look us up. We just posted episode number 24, Spring Turkey Part 3 with the Team Wingbone. Unbelievable conversation. They talk about the history of the Wingbone call and what it means to their family, and the stories that they tell behind that are second to none for sure.
So, talk a little bit about, real quick before we jump off here, what your plans are for the upcoming weeks. I know you're doing like a turkey series right now. Was that episode 2?
That was episode 3 that I just posted. So the first one that I did was with Alan May from North Carolina, and then I had Kyle Campbell on. He used to be cameraman for Wired Outdoors. Then I just had Team Wingbone on. This coming week I have David Yater from West Virginia. They call him the West Virginia Turkey Thug on Twitter. Huge turkey hunter. And after that, it's just a bunch of people on there. Paul Campbell from the O2 podcast. Tons of people coming up, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, cool. How many episodes you got planned out for that, or how?
Right now, I'm at the beginning of April, so it may be close to a 10-parter because I'm going to have some other people come on after the season and kind of talk about how their seasons went. So I got a stretch of turkey coming up for a while. I think that's what people really want to hear right now.
Yeah, if you guys wanting to get the fill in on turkey hunting, make sure you check out Brett's show, Blue River Bow Hunting. And then after the turkey season, you jumping back to deer?
Yeah, I think I'm going to jump back to deer and, do some preseason stuff, food plots, that sort of thing. And then, with you, I would love to collaborate a few times maybe and getting on talking how we're learning to put these saddles together, the setups that we did it,
How many times we fell?
Yeah, how many times I fell off the aider in my yard and looked like a dumbass.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always open to do that. I've got to get that saddle and those sticks ordered soon. I'm sitting on a Bass Pro card I got for Christmas. So if you end up really liking those sticks, it's probably what I'm going to go with.
I would definitely go with those sticks.
All right, Brett. I'll let you get out of here, and thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll see you.
See you.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Hunt the Wild podcast. If you enjoyed the show and it's brought you some sort of value, I'd love if you could give me a rating and a review. Just a few seconds of your time can help me better understand the type of content you all enjoy, and it would mean the world to me to hear from all of you.